Hey, what's up everyone, TJ here. In this video, I've partnered up with Snowboard Magazine to test out the Burton Deep Thinker. This is the board that Danny Davis rides, and this is gonna coincide with an interview he did in issue 2 of the magazine. It's out now. If you wanna check that out, I'll have it linked down in the description below. But the plan for today is to get some laps out here at Vail Pass, see if we can find some good snow, and then head over to Copper for some resort laps. I'm gonna talk about all the tech you're gonna find in this snowboard and share my thoughts on how it feels out here as well. So let's get into it. All right guys, for reference, before we jump into the tech, I'm riding the Deep Thinker 154. I'm 5'10" and I weigh around 150 pounds. And the Deep Thinker is gonna be an all mountain free ride kind of board on the Burton lineup. It is a fully directional snowboard, so it has a directional shape with a longer nose and tail outside the contact points for more surface area up front. It also runs a setback and a taper, as well as a directional camber profile or a shifted camber. So it is camber dominant with a positive camber from the front foot running all the way out to the rear contact points, and then rocker running outside the front foot out through the nose here to help give you more float when you do take this board in soft snow. Burton rates this board with a flex on the stiffer side of medium, and it is a directional flex as well, so we should find some more stability in the tail, getting a little bit more playful as you get out to the nose. And it has a good bit of carbon built into it as well, and the carbon runs at a 45-degree angle, so that should offer some more energy and more response, both long ways from tip to tail as well as torsionally. So hoping to find a nice energetic, snappy feel out of the Deep Thinker, and I think we'll be able to really feel that more once we get out to Copper. But it also has Burton's frostbite edges, so that's some mellow added contact points in the side cut to help it bite down a little bit more if you do take it out on some icy days or you find yourself in some more firm, treacherous conditions. And the last thing I want to highlight is that this does run Burton's sintered WFO base. So that's a high-end base material known to be harder, faster, and more durable compared to an extruded base. But you do want to make sure to wax this board often to maintain that consistent glide that you're going to get from day one. So that's going to be it for the tech breakdown. We're going to get some laps going out here, and we'll check back in at the end of the day to talk about how this thing feels out on snow. All right, it's been an awesome time out here testing the Deep Thinker. And one thing I want to call out before we get into the feedback is you are going to find somewhat of a matte finish on the top sheet here. So it does a pretty good job gripping your boot whenever you're one footing, getting off the chairlift, anything like that. Basically got a built-in stomp pad on this thing, so that's always nice to see. And I want to start things off talking about the powder experience with the Deep Thinker. So Burton markets this board as more of like an all mountain free ride focused board rather than a powder specialist. And I think that's pretty accurate. You know, it does have all these directional features. You got the directional outline, the shifted camber, the taper, and the significant setback. So it definitely offers a noticeably better powder experience compared to a twin or a directional twin. But I would say geared more towards free riding in powder. So, you know, looking for those alpine hikes in the resort, looking for that steeper, more rugged terrain on powder days, versus trying to find that like low angle powder where you do rely on the board a lot more for float. Overall, it does have a really good feel in the soft snow, nice and maneuverable going through the trees, offers noticeably more float, definitely gonna help save your back leg on the deep days, but not something I would purchase as a powder specific board. More something that's gonna be great for exploring, and if you happen to take it out on a deep day, it's still gonna be a lot of fun and have a good feel to it. And as far as the flex goes, the Deep Thinker is actually quite an aggressive snowboard, pretty consistent flex throughout, and for sure on the stiffer side of medium. Overall, the feel of the board is aggressive, precise, and very energetic. That's a big highlight for me that I've noticed out here today on the Deep Thinker. It's the kind of board that's gonna come through with some excellent stability, a very powerful feel to it, and great pop. Pretty much any tension you load in this snowboard, it's gonna give back with some explosive energy, really help boost you in the air, whether you're hitting features in the park, hitting jumps, or just hitting rollers, cruising around the mountain. Has a really good energy to it. On the other side of that though, it is gonna be more difficult to work on those butter and flat ground type tricks, working against that flex and that camber profile pretty much anytime you lean into the nose or tail. It's going to be a little more difficult, more challenging to find those balance points, and it can also be a little bit catchy just because it does have such a precise feel to it. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind if you are trying those flat ground tricks. It does have some great pop on the way out, which is fun. It can help you kind of launch off rollers and natural features, but definitely much more of an aggressive feel and not a board that I would call buttery in the sense we usually talk about. We did get quite a few laps through Central Park out here at Copper, and for how directional the design is on this board, it's actually very park friendly. I would say it's a little bit more jump leaning just because of how stiff the board is. It's going to have plenty of stability to hit those larger jumps, cruise into those larger features where you need more speed and more stability on the landings. Going to help you power through those higher impact situations. And if you need to put that landing gear down, anything like that, it's going to be able to help bring you back down onto the snow rather than wash out or loop out on you. If you do happen to take it through the park as you're out there exploring or decide you want to do some afternoon park laps with your friends, it's definitely still going to be a good time, but it's not a board that's going to really help with your freestyle progression. One last thing though that I think does make it a little more park friendly compared to some more directional boards is that it still has a pretty natural feel riding switch. Had quite a few switch landings out here, whether that was on a jump or on a rail feature, and it feels pretty natural. I think that's something that you would get used to your first day on the board, not something that's going to throw you off or make you really have to focus on it if you are in the park or really any situation where you're riding switch. And the last thing I want to talk about is the carving experience. That's definitely something that's a highlight for me with the Deep Thinker. Not only does it bring together those directional features, that shifted camber, the taper, the setback, I think those offer a really good feel for initiating and driving through a turn. Very different experience from carving on a twin, but it's also a very powerful and energetic board. So it really has a locked in feel to it, a lot of precision. You can really trust the board as you lay into turns, has a very confident feel to it even at high speeds. And you can also get that energy transitioning from edge to edge, jumping from your heel side to your toe side, back to your heel side. You can really feel that camber load up and spring you into your other turn. So a lot of fun for carving, very capable. That camber keeps you super locked in. So even as you start to go fast, if you're bombing down these runs out here, whatever resort you're at, you're gonna be able to trust this board. The one limiting factor when it comes to carving is gonna be the width. The Deep Thinker is fairly narrow, so if you do try to lay over those more aggressive Euro style carves, you do want to watch out for that heel and toe drag. On the positive side, it's quick heel to toe edge change, but it is a little bit limiting for those more aggressive edge angles. But overall, this is a very powerful snowboard. It's going to offer a lot of stability, a lot of energy, and is definitely going to be geared towards more experienced riders looking for that more situation-specific snowboard, or maybe looking for that one-board solution that's focused on exploring the mountain and riding some powder. So if that's something you're looking for, definitely make sure to check out the Deep Thinker. I'm gonna have this board linked down in the description below if you wanna read more about it for yourself and check out the specs. Also, make sure to check out the feature on Snowboard Magazine's site. I'll have that linked down there as well. If you've had a chance to ride this board, let us know what you think about it down in the comments. You can leave any questions for me down there as well. Drop a like if you got some value out of this video, and subscribe to the channel for more board reviews, guys. I appreciate you guys watching today, and we will see you in a new video next time. Take care, everybody.